Well, good morning, everyone. An absolutely gorgeous day shaping up for us. It is a little after 11 a.m. here, about 11:09 a.m. to be specific when I'm recording this Eastern Time, and it is April 26, 2014. It is a Saturday, and it is going to be an absolutely gorgeous Saturday. As you can see with the clouds and radar into motion, pretty much cloudless skies. We're looking at a mostly sunny sky today. It is absolutely gorgeous weather. Hi, folks. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here. Thanks for logging on to Southern Indiana Weather for our latest video update. Today, we're sponsored by Metal Magic in Washington. Folks, make sure you write that number down because remember, Metal Magic, they're across from the Radio Shack in Washington. They have that great traveling hail team and they do paintless dent repair work. And folks, we've got some severe weather to be expected over the next few days, so make sure you write that number down, 698-8555, and tell them Southern Indiana Weather sent you, folks. With the risks over the next few days, it's possible you could need it, so write that number down. Let's talk about today first, though, before we get into the severe weather. Let's at least get the good news. Take a look at high temperatures across the day. Here's your Plan Your Day forecast, sponsored by Ubelor and Sons in Jasper. Absolutely gorgeous temperatures. I mean, mostly sunny skies. In fact, we may see a few high, thin clouds roll through every once in a while, but there'll be times where we don't see a single cloud in the sky as well. Just an absolutely gorgeous day if you've got some yard work or other things that you need to do. Folks, today's going to be your day to do that. It might be a little bit breezy at times, but it's going to be a gorgeous day. Temperatures flirting with 80 degrees. Forecasting 80 for Evansville and 78 here in the Jasper area. Low of around, the lowest you see on here is 77 up around Vincennes and Columbus. Not a bad day. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous, but unfortunately, this is going to be the last gorgeous day that we're going to see in quite some time. We're going into a very unsettled weather pattern after we go through this. So let's dive right into everything and talk about it. All right, let me take the satellite off here and we'll stop putting this into motion. Let me illustrate this for you. Essentially, what you're going to have is a huge upper level low pressure that's going to have it's going to be a stacked low, as we call it. There'll be a very strong surface low that's going to be with this upper level low as you go through the atmosphere. It's kind of stacked up. That's why we call it a stacked low. Now, along with that, there's going to be a warm front that extends over to us in our area, and that warm front's going to be the focal point for a lot of our severe weather. And we're going to have a cold front that comes down as well, and eventually this whole thing will move our direction, and it's a very powerful one. Let's just take a look at our severe weather setups. It's, as I've said before, it is going to be a multi-day severe weather event. Now today, absolutely nothing to worry about. Here's the SPC's Day 1 outlook, and you see the slight risk for severe weather really just stays out to our west. But by tomorrow, that risk for severe weather comes towards us, and we face the threat of some thunderstorms. In fact, you can see a very high risk, that moderate risk down over of the Arkansas area, really around the Arklatex area. It looks like the focal point for the worst of the weather tomorrow. But that risk does extend into us if we just take a look at probabilities for the severe weather. You can see that 15% slight risk, which is the low end slight risk, does extend into us. 5% risk extends pretty much through most of our area as well. And again, that's the very marginal threat for severe weather. It's possible this could even be expanded tomorrow. We'll see what they do whenever the data gets a little bit closer. But it does look like we could have some strong thunderstorms fire tomorrow evening. Now, I think Monday looks like a stronger chance than Sunday, but certainly it's going to be something that we're going to have to watch out for, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. The other thing that could be the potential is with such a strong threat down here towards the Arklatex region, we'll see whether that sort of takes the energy and zaps it out of what could fire in our area. That's possible. It doesn't mean it's not a guarantee, but it's possible. It's something that we're going to have to monitor. But we do have that risk associated with it tomorrow. All right. Now for Monday, Monday looks like the worst day around here as far as I'm concerned. I was thinking that Tuesday could be a worse day, but I think Tuesday's going to be starting to push off more towards the east. It looks like Monday night is going to be our best chance for severe weather around here, the way things look to me right now. Here's just the categorical outlooks, and you can see we're all on the slight risk here in our area. The moderate risk extends as far as the Kentucky border here up to close to just south of Paducah here, all the way down through Mississippi into parts of Arkansas and up in Louisiana as well. So this will be the main focal point of probably where most of the tornadic activity will be, although tornadoes cannot be ruled out in other areas as well. But if we just take a look at the probabilities for it, you can see actually the 30%, which remember a 30% is the upper end slight risk, does include some of our southern Indiana counties, and pretty much most of the state from really Terre Haute, Indianapolis on south is in that slight risk for severe weather, at least in a low end slide at 15% and all, and some of us are included in that as well. You can see this hatched area, which is just a definition of a significant weather event. It's a probability that there could be a significant weather event within 25 miles of any given point there, and it's just a kind of a way that they designate this as kind of the area of the most concern, and you can see that almost stretches up to the Ohio River. It's really down in more towards the mid-south here, in points around Bowling Green, Paducah, and on south into Nashville. That is getting a little bit close for comfort for us, though, so it's something that we're going to have to certainly watch out. The risks are there. And then we're not done yet, because if we take a look by Tuesday, you see this is, and remember, on the days 4 through 8 severe weather outlooks, they only issue upper end slight risks for that, so they got to be pretty confident. So this is a 30% risk for it. And remember that there's always a 15% risk surrounding it, which is the low-end regular slight risk. So it's possible that we could, some of us, also be included in that low-end slight risk as well. So Tuesday definitely looks like it's going to be one to watch. I think Tuesday stays more down south than it does up for us at this point. I can't rule it out, but that's just my opinion at this. We'll have to watch it over coming days. But really, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we are all under the gun for some severe weather. Let's talk about the reasons why real quick. As I said, it's going to be a low pressure and a warm front that's going to be diving up to the north. As I just put this into motion, here's that low pressure. The warm front dives to our north here, and then the cold front moves closer to us, but you see all kinds of precipitation moving through it. But watch how that low was over here, and this was over here today. Here we are by Wednesday evening, and the low is just now over here. It's not moving very fast, and as I put that into motion for you, you saw that it just sort of sat and spin around as if it was just doing some loop-de-loops around the area, not going very fast at all. As I continue putting that into motion, watch how it goes. It's still there, and it's still doing daggone loop-de-loops around us, and we still have rain chances. In fact, it looks like we're going to have rain chances pretty much all next week. It's going to be a never-ending sight of rain chances, really. So not good, especially for our farmers who are still trying very desperately to get their crops into the ground. Next week looks like it could be a real strong threat of rain, and it looks like the rain could be heavy at times. We may end up with 3 or 4 inches of rain by the time next week is finished with. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't think it's all going to come at one time. It looks like it's going to be spread out over a week. So if that's the case, flooding concerns would be less, although I do think on Monday we would have a little bit of some flash flooding concerns with the strong weather coming in. That's not set in stone yet. That's just kind of preliminary thinking. But I think the majority of it will stay spread out over the week. But nonetheless, 3 or 4 inches of rain, that's a lot of rain. Okay. Let me back this up for us and show us exactly what's going to happen here. And pardon it just takes a little while to back this up because it's uses every 3 hours, but I want to show you the setup. All right, so here we are on Sunday afternoon. This is what I really want to show you. Sunday afternoon, here we are about 11 a.m., and storms are firing out to our west. Now, this is the surface map, and it's accumulated precipitation, so it's not future radar here. GFS doesn't have a future radar product. But by looking at the accumulated precip, obviously we can know where the rain is happening. So even though we don't look for even though it's not a future radar, it can kind of serve as a sense of a future radar for us. All right, watch how that precipitation moves over us on Sunday afternoon. Here we are into about 5 p.m. Here's 8 p.m. on Sunday evening, and we're watching for some of that chance of severe weather move up our way. Then it looks like some good deluge of rain comes through during the overnight hours, probably not severe. By the time Monday evening comes, again, notice the very heavy precipitation. In the past 6 hours, you could get maybe an inch of precipitation with this in parts of the area, according to the GFS model. The warm front is well to our north at that time. Cold front is more like this, but we've got very good upper level dynamics that's causing this. This would be the line of severe thunderstorms. Now, future radar doesn't see that on our high resolution NAM, didn't see as far out yet, so that's why I'm using the GFS to show you this. But it looks like we could have potentially a line of thunderstorms move through on Monday night that could be very damaging, and we'll have to watch and see how that goes. But as far as that goes, here is 5 p.m. and here is 7 p.m. So you get an idea that it looks like it may be afternoon and during the evening hours whenever we see this. So keep that in mind. All right. We can take a look a little bit at future radar and just to show you what it's going to be like, but it only comes out to 60 hours, so we end early on Monday. All right, as I said, Saturday looks like a gorgeous day, absolutely nothing to worry about. It does want to pop up a stray shower maybe towards this evening. I'm not necessarily buying into that. Through the overnight hours on Sunday, a few showers potentially moving in tonight. But then watch this. There's the big deluge of rain. Let me stop about out here. Here's 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock Eastern time, and you see. And remember, the big threat for severe weather is down here. The moderate risk is down here around the Arklatex region. But we're all under a slight risk of severe weather. You can see some strong-looking thunderstorms potentially moving our way. Watch how these move through. Here's by 5 o'clock on by 5 o'clock on Sunday. by 8 o'clock, here you go. And it looks like between 5 and 8 o'clock may be the sweet time from the way this looks on future radar to really fire some storms. Watch how this just literally blows these storms up over us in this 3-hour time window. All right. So we'll have to watch for that. Those could end up being severe. They may not be severe, but we'll watch it. We'll continue to put this into motion. A deluge of rain, probably some severe weather out there. As it moves closer to us, you can see it all just congeals into kind of a blob of rain, which would be more of a heavy rain threat for us. And then this moves out, and then we've got more rain potentially starting here. Here's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it looks like we start to see that line form down here. And of course, future radar ends at 2 o'clock. Now the GFS, obviously, as you saw, wanted to take this maybe between 5 and 8 o'clock, so there's some differences on timing here. But we've got a potential squall line that could set up and move through on Monday evening from the way things look, afternoon and evening from the way things look at this point. We'll have to monitor that. All right. As far as severe weather parameters go, I won't go very much into this. You've looked at these before. If you want an in-depth analysis, just go back to a couple of our previous videos, and I'll go through those things. But just to show you that wind energy, remember for severe weather, we need basically 3 things. We need a strong forcing mechanism. Well, we've got that in the form of our low pressure, warm front and cold front moving in. No problem with the forcing mechanism. And then we need very strong wind energy to create that wind shear, and you've got it. Here I'm showing you that right here, and this is very strong wind energy in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Absolutely nothing to worry about wind energy. It's very powerful. Those winds will be whipping up there. And then you need instability through the form of warmth and moisture. Well, we're going to warm up significantly, and we've got, if I were just to show you the moisture transport, if we just take a look at the precipitable water values here, what you're going to see is it's just a sort of a funnel from the Gulf of Mexico moving up. That's because this is a very negatively tilted trough. And by the way, by negatively tilted, we mean it slants like this. So we mean when we say a negatively tilted trough. And that increases that, a negatively tilted trough like that just sort of enhances the ability to lift that water up from the Gulf of Mexico and create an unstable atmosphere for us. So we've got everything, short, sweet, and to the point, we've got everything that we need in play for a major severe weather event. We can take a look at a couple of other parameters that I haven't shown you much as well. Here's a significant tornado parameter. And whenever you get over 1, you worry. And you can see we are into 1, 2, and even 3 around our area for a Monday evening. So certainly tornadoes cannot be ruled out. You can't rely on this just alone to forecast tornadic development, but with this in play, I would say that tornadoes are not out of the question. We can also take a look at the supercell composite index, which is the risk of lone thunderstorms ahead of a main line that could produce damaging winds and spawn tornadoes as well. And again, you see we've got some very impressive numbers on that, and it's focused right over our area here during the evening times as well. So that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on very closely and see what that does. If we go back to the severe weather outlooks, especially here for this is for Monday, I just want you to see what the Storm Prediction Center is wording, and they're wording it like this: an outbreak of severe storms is possible on Monday across parts of the lower Mississippi Valley and Mid-South. And really, that would be part of us, that we are in the Mississippi Valley. It would be the lower, this would be your upper Mississippi Valley. A lot of times we're called the Ohio Valley, but really they're talking about pretty much this whole slight area, so keep that in mind. Parts of the whole slide area, basically. Large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes are, look at the word, expected. So that's not very comforting, but we need to know that the risk is very real with this, and folks, we need to be taking this, well, just very seriously. I could confuse you if I showed you this. I've showed you this before on Facebook as well. This is just looking at the model profile up and through the atmosphere. Just ignore this, but what I want you to see, you don't even have to understand what the numbers mean. Just remember that red and yellow are bad, and this is looking at severe weather parameters on Monday evening. As a meteorologist, I know what this means. I know that probably confuses a lot of the rest of you, and I understand that. Cape and sins and helicity and EHI and blah, blah, blah. It sounds like Greek to most of you. I get that. But what I want you to see is that all of these red and yellows is just everything is lining up in place for a major severe weather event. Could it be an outbreak? Yes, it very could, but I use the term outbreak very sparsely in mind because I think it's an overused term. But I could legitimately see this being an outbreak. All right, it's not going to be a pretty situation, folks. So keep it tuned right here to Southern Indiana Weather, folks, because we'll keep you up with the latest. I'll have more of these videos coming up. All right, go to southernindianaweather.com. We'll take a look at your Eubler and Sun 7-day forecast real quick. And again, I'll just take a look at the temperatures real quick. 78 today, 78 tomorrow, 75 Monday, so plenty of warmth. And then you can just see the rain. And folks, we go down into the low to mid 60s throughout the rest of the week. It does cool down behind it, but not as much of a cool down as expected, thankfully. We may look at the 50s potentially beyond that. It's still in play, but very much in question at this point. All right. That is it for today's video, folks. I will have another one of these tomorrow, and we will keep you updated with the latest. Stay tuned for the latest, and stay safe, folks. Take care.